Let me get my incense lit. And then we will start this show. Make sure it's staying lit. But so. Alrighty, everybody. How to get my incense lit. Let me put it in here. Alrighty, everybody. This is Breaking the Cage. It is Astrology TV with the Matrix Mind Media. This is for the week right before the Lionsgate. Hello, Karen. Since I just said hello to Karen, anybody else who comes through, most likely I will not say hello to. I will go back and I will read the comments and so forth later, because I will get a little sidetracked on my channeling and the messages that I'm receiving if I am reading the comments, but I put them on in case one of them stands out at me specifically for me to pay attention to. Now, this is for the week of July 31st through August 6th, and it is the week before the Lionsgate. It is a very powerful week because it's opening up the energies of, are you going to go through that portal or not? Now, with that being said, I'm going to backtrack for just a minute because I have some information that I need to bring out to everybody. I had stated, if you follow me directly and if you're on any of my Facebook page or information, I also have something new that I'm bringing out, which is going to be personal moon phases, where I'm going to be going through for my clients directly, and instead of doing a full astrology, you know, for a transiting for the week or the month or vice versa, or your natal astrology, I'm going to be doing moon phases. And I had stated that I was going to start in the beginning of August. However, you may be able to tell from my energy right now, my energy is low. And I'm going to explain that in just a second, because I have a reason why I'm choosing to tell the world. Anyway, my moon phases, I'm not quite sure when that is going to begin. I had every intention of it beginning right here at the Lion's Gate, but that may have to be pushed back a little while. Also, I had been putting out like a commercial starting for the first and the third quarter in between the full moon and the new moon. So it's all together. It was going to be the moon phases, which I was going to be working with my friend Kelly, and that was going to be a monster on a pyre. So there's two different situations going on, but I am going to have to postpone them and push them back a little bit. And you're going to understand the reasoning for that in just a few minutes. Because last week I was speaking a lot about it being Shark Week. Okay, guides. My guides are making my room brighter, so they're coming in. I was speaking a lot about it being Shark Week and understanding the metaphysical, the totem energy of the shark, and how, you know, the shark energy is one form of power, but then there's also the people or the energy that come out with the appearance of the shark, but they're not always the shark. And there was a lot of psychic activity last week, as well as for some people, it was that shark energy was bringing out the fact of understanding that there was psychic attack energy that could be coming in. A lot of that has to do with the fact of Aries is a first house. It is our first house on the universal scale. It speaks to us of our character, but it also speaks to us of new beginnings and the new cycles that we are beginning. And every planet, you have Eris, which is what I often call Medusa. Trouble, toil, and strife is what she is the goddess of. You have Chiron, which is the wounded healer, and you have Jupiter, which is the abundance. And all three of them are now in retrograde in Aries, which is going to give us a lot of that 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. As we're adjusting things we've overlooked, we've overlooked and so forth as we move forward. And this energy may feel that way a lot, especially because this energy is mainly going to be in effect until November and December. But with that being said, I was going on about that shark attack, that shark energy, shark week, and personally, I have come down with COVID. So this is why my energy is very low. But my guides are like, nah, you ain't that messed up. Get up in there and go do what you have to do. We got you. And part of that is because when the tough gets going, you have to get going. Plain and simple. There's no, oh, woe is me. We sit down and feel sorry for ourselves. I am always reminding each and every one of you that you create your own reality. And so on a 3-dimensional world, this 3-dimensional path, this vessel, this body may have COVID, but I am responsible for my own vitality. I am responsible for my own life and the kingdom that I create. So therefore, now I refuse to play this 3-dimensional game. I am not sick. You do not get to tell me how I will be. And I will create the higher vibration that I need. And with that being said, this is where I'm putting it, and I'm bringing it to you anyway, because I want you guys to see this is where you have to take and lead through example. And if you're leading through example and you're living up to your unstoppable force, then you are stepping outside of that 3-dimensional. You're stepping outside of where I'm at, like all dimensions. I am energy, and I can create my energy as I so see fit. So therefore, I am choosing that I am vibrationally high, and that I will continue to be high, and I will bring myself into that lead of example and help lead us into the best energies we can by doing what I'm supposed to do as a shaman and bringing you these energies. With that, just bear with me because I have a lot of guides coming in and my body is still going, whoa. But with that said, I was saying last week, it's a lot to do with our character. Now, Spirit, because I have a lot of Hindu gods coming in right now. And they're reminding me, and it's not just the Hindu. And I'm sorry because I do get them mixed up, but there's so many different Hindu gods. But they're giving me the example also of like Hathor after she was Sekhmet. The point here is because there's another idea of that within the Hindus, but I don't remember which god it is. But they're going the difference of, where the transformation of the person comes in, or the goddess inside, or godding inside. And like with Sekhmet, she became bloodthirsty, ready to destroy everything. Until finally she took a nap. She was made to take a nap, but when she took a nap, she became Hathor, the goddess of love, the goddess of, the mothering and compassion. And this is what the energy is that they're trying to help us see, is through a lot of these energies that are shifting, especially with Aries now being pretty much itself in retrograde. It's really defining our character. And this week in the astrology, the only thing that the spirits seem to make me notice, I have to really work hard to find all the aspects to discuss with you all, is because all they're showing me is South Node versus its direct opposition of Mars, Uranus, and the North Node. And so this is saying, where are you realizing in your character form of your self-sabotage? Where is it that it's your inner peace versus your comfort zone and your self-sabotage? Because so often we are sabotaging in areas that's just a comfort zone that we don't even acknowledge that is a comfort zone. And it's not becoming of us. It's not helping us. It's South Node energy. It's where you're comfortable, what you know, what you're complacent in, but it doesn't do anything for you anymore. And where is it that we're addressing that instead of our inner peace? Where is it that we're looking to have our character be in power, but it's more becoming of entitlement or aggression, push and shove power, instead of standing in our inner peace? Spirit is reminding me that this year I say it a lot when I do my personal one-on-one work with my clients. I speak of the empath coming to understand that inner peace and that strengthening of their soul when I do that shaman and that psychic work. And I use my father as an example because my father was, and to some people this won't make any difference, but to some who can mentally or heartfully understand where I'm coming from, then you can maybe get what I'm trying to speak. My father was a bee charmer. And what I mean by a bee charmer is he did not wear the outfit, to protect his body. He was the type that would just go up, plain and simple, into his clothes, walk up to the beehives, and he kept beehives, and would stick his hand in and bring out the honey, covered in thousands or hundreds, maybe, I don't know, bees are a lot of bees, but covered in them, and all over his arm, all over his face, his head, and he would come back with, fresh honey. Now, every once in a great while, he would come back with a couple of bee stings, and he would always complain that it was because they could smell his beer. But the point is, hundreds of bees all over his arms, his head, his face, his hat. You can't see my father anymore. And he might come back with one or two bee stings. See, it takes a great deal of inner peace to have your outer world completely attacking you, and to know that you're fine, to know that you are safe and that you are secure, to not be what makes the outer world's attack capable of penetrating your soul energy. I've been learning a lot of that lesson in my own ways this year. And it's part of what I'm trying to help you all understand as you're growing. You may not learn it the same way I did, and all of us learn it in different ways. But when you're in your inner peace, it gives your power a different level of strength. And this is what I mean by, I'm not going to play your three-dimensional game. I'm not going to play the 4 or 5 and trying to be in competition anymore. I am an energy, and I will choose what energy I will be. And when I don't like the way the world is behaving, or what it's giving to me, or what it's putting on me, right down to this COVID, well, it's my choice to choose if I'm going to live part of that reality, or if I'm going to create my own. This is why I was saying, in order to lead through example, you have to also be able to explain. You have to also be able to be responsible for your own vitality, your own life, and your own kingdom, and see fit on how to choose your power. Because if your power is coming from push and shove, then you're not really in your power, you're still in fear. But if you're in inner peace, just like I said with my father, nothing can penetrate. It may penetrate. I might get a sting here and there. I might get a cut, a bruise, but you can't touch me. My soul is higher and more vibrating than that. I'm on a different time loop. I'm on a different timeline. And this is where we need to be. Are we in our peace? At the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is what you leave behind. And that's kind of funny, because when we think about what we leave behind, we think of our legacy. But our legacy can be so many different things. Our legacy sometimes is what you are building, you know, being able to be helpful. I'm sitting in the bedroom with my mother this morning, and this is when this came into my mind, and that's when they had me start writing down, you will be doing today's Breaking the Cage. My father, when he was alive, has a slate. It might be about this big, and it's kind of kindergarten young. It's not the best artistry ever, but it was a slate, and he was drawing it. Now, my father is not alive anymore. He's not with us. And I have different things that remind me of my father, but to me, that was one of his legacies. And to anybody else, that's just some dumb little picture. But to me, that's my father sitting on the picnic table enjoying his day. Plain and simple. What are you leaving behind? Are you leaving behind this giant legacy, this hero? Or are you just happy to be? And being happy to be part of the lives that you are part of. And that asks the question of, well, who is part of your life? And where are they helping you be the best you can be? Is there anything else I have here that I'm missing? They said to ask you. Let me pick up my notes. They said to ask you, are you protecting, preserving your way of life? Because is that the way of life that's part of the self-sabotage and the comfort zone that you're protecting and preserving? Or is it, you know, you're stepping into the great wide open and trying something new? If you're preserving your new growth, if you're protecting your new growth and your new way of life and your new spirituality, and you're bringing that in, then that's great. But ask yourself these true questions. They asked me also to ask you, when you get thinking of justice, justice is the long game. Nothing about it is the short, fast game. It is the long game. And our peace is the long game. So on your daily growth and your daily spirituality, are you checking the line? Are you checking the line as to which side of the line you're on? And I think that's it. That's it for that. So let me get into the week's information, the blueprint, and the actual astrology. Like I said, I'm sorry, guys, that my energy is not very high, but I feel like I'm a little stoned in general. I'm not feeling very badly sick. I'm mainly just feeling stoned. Socrates. There's never been justice. Like I said, every once in a while I leave these on because something gets my attention. There's never been justice. Now, I'm not talking on the world scale of society. That's a whole nother subject. I'm talking about in your own personal life. There's only justice when you're playing the long game as to decide what side you're on. in your soul, in your life. And if you're allowing your life to be full of justice or not. As far as society, you can only play the part as to what you're bringing to the table, and then allow that to be, meaning sending out the best that you can send out. But on a daily, everyday life, we have to be creating our inner joy, our inner peace, our inner justice by our own truth. And then we can acknowledge what the society has to change. But it takes it takes a village. And especially when we're talking about everything that we have to change in our society right now, throughout the whole world, it takes a village. However, you got to make sure that the people are in the village are being forthcoming and honest, because that means up close and personal, then the justice isn't going to get served either. So this is why I said it's a long game, is what they're explaining. All right, guys. I am being told to pay most attention to the South Node this week. It is definitely bringing its attention forward. However, the sun is in Leo. It is Leo season. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because the sun is going to be crossing over Kokub, which is one of the guardians of the pole. And I keep trying to throw that out there, that the guardians of the pole are one of the ones who are going to decide if you've spiritually evolved high enough to make it through that portal or not during the Lion's Gate, or if there's more lessons that have to be learned. Not that you can't still make it through, but they will make it more difficult on making sure the lesson gets learned before it comes through. Now, Kokub, its energy is like that of a giant, an orange giant, I believe they call them. And its energy itself is Saturn and Venus, along with the sun's energy. So it's strengthening, it's doubling down on the sun energy this week, adding Saturn energy as well as Venus energy to it. So it's making that sun more powerful than usual. And like I said, and it's the tail end of the dragon, meaning, will it get eaten again or will it start a new cycle? And in the 8th house, this is speaking to us about where are we creating our kingdom? Where are we creating our enjoyment in our life? Are we creating it from a more positive, high vibrational place? Or are we creating it from that lower vibration? And I'm using the COVID that I have at the moment as an example. I could be sitting in my shit. Everybody who knows or who is spiritual, who has had it, pretty much most people who have had COVID and been on that spiritual, psychic, third eye open level will say how this energy of this illness will get into your head and just down you. And it's like a psychic attack over and over and over again. And I'm like, screw you. You don't get to affect me. You don't get to take me on a lower vibration. I refuse. I am way the hell up here on another vibration, and you don't get to bring me down. And this is what I'm talking about. When we are bringing our energy into our creativity, are we creating from that woe is me? Are we creating from that fear, that anxiety, that doubt that sometimes is your comfort zone and you don't even know? Or are we creating from, I'm not going to play this anymore. I'm way up here. You want to get to me, you're going to have to climb up this tree. All right. The sun has Kokub this week. I will be explaining more of this as we go through the astrology. Mercury is moving into Virgo midweek, I believe. And on the blueprint, that actually has a lot to do with things. We are addressing the Lion's Gate energy because the Lion's Gate is next Monday, and then you have the full moon coming up midweek next week, or like Thursday next week. So we are definitely readdressing stuff. Now remember, we just had the full moon that took place in Capricorn, the new moon that just took place in Cancer. And then we're going to go back to the full moon, not the full moon, the Lion's Gate, and it's going to be going through Capricorn as well. Capricorn and Sag. So we are definitely talking about how we're setting the foundation in the three-dimensional world according to our inner emotional security is being attached in a positive way or being attacked, and how we're attaching that in a negative way as to how we're creating what the Lion's Gate's power is going to bring to us. And I've been trying to bring this out all month and help us to understand, because you're only as unstoppable as you believe you are. And I want you guys to all know you're unstoppable. You just have to be able to tap in and be like, nah, I'm energy, dude. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Hold on. Now, I posted earlier this week, I posted all about Eris and Jupiter and Chiron and how it's on the cheekbones and how the mouth itself works, as well as how it's going on to the zeal point as well. And this has a lot to do with how we are speaking, what we're seeing, and bringing it into our reality. I already posted a lot about that. You can go back and look that one up. But as you get into Mars, Uranus, and the North Node, that is sitting directly on the occipital bone. That is the zeal point. That is the actual energy that chooses if there's going to be a psychic attack or not, according to how the brain is activating what it is seeing from the views of you, how your brain is operating, how it is observing, how it is sending that messages back to the occipital lobe, which is the zeal point, and then down the spinal column. Now, Uranus, the North Node, and Mars is all on that zeal point. So depending on how you choose to see it is how open you're making yourself to being attacked or to coming into that higher power. And it also speaks of the lymph nodes that are in the neck, meaning just how flexible are you at the same time. Cancer is on the pancreas, but Cancer has Venus in it. And it is on the pancreas, as well as going to be going through all of those gastric juices. So this is speaking to us about, again, how we digest the energies that we are consuming, that we are part of. And then just as importantly, as Mercury moves out of Leo and into Virgo, it's going into the heart. It's going from the heart to the back, to the appendix, intestines, and the colon, which means you're literally taking that energy that you're digesting, you're taking it in through the heart, the chest energy, taking it directly down through the solar plexus, and then is it coming out and being cleansed? Literally. This is the way the energy is working this week. It's breaking down the nutrients of what you need, not just food, but energy. Trying to take the energies of what is healthy and good for you and then send it through the body and allow the waste to be removed. If you are in your negatives, you'll be creating blocks and you'll be having more problems removing the waste. I'm just giving you the honest truth about how that blueprint works. Not alone. And again, the sun is there with Kokub, and that's on the spinal column, as well as the heart chamber itself. So this is literally going, what are you allowing your heart to be part of? Are you allowing your heart? I say this all the time to people. I'm like, sometimes People misunderstand this on an empath level so often. And just being a good person so often, because what they want to do is they want to help others. They want to give. And when you give, that's great. Being kind is great. But when you keep giving of yourself and you have nothing to give, well, then you're not being loving anymore. And it's not even that you're being manipulated. That's a self-sabotage. And that's you giving what you don't have to give anymore. That's you ultimately not loving yourself and bringing yourself harm. And just like, and I was like I said, there's a reason why my guides are like, I don't care if you have COVID. They were like, you don't feel bad. They were like, you do feel a little pain in your chest, but you're mainly just a little, I'm spacey. Because it's mainly me just being goofy, feeling like I'm stoned. If I was sick as a dog, feeling like crap, I would not be making this video for you all. Because then I would know I need my me time. I need my love. But I don't feel other than a little bit stoned. This is what I'm saying, is you have to know yourself. You have to know your character. You have to know the energy that you are creating. And if you're creating something that you can see isn't healthy for you or isn't good for you, sometimes you just have to stop, take a break, back up, give yourself a moment to get it together. And if that moment takes a couple weeks, then it takes a couple weeks. But this is about knowing if you have the energy to give or not, because if you keep giving, keep trying to help, especially when you give love to others, you keep giving it and they keep taking it and they keep taking it. But are you getting it back? Are you getting your health back? Is it really helping them? That's all I'm saying, guys. Now, as we get into the actual energies of this week, I will start off with, there is not very many sextiles. Sextiles are opportunities, okay? And the problem when you have a lot of sextiles is you get a little too comfortable and you may miss them because you feel comfortable about them being there. Now, the thing is, it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4. It's actually 4 sextiles, but they are all like, one is sextile, then it hits another one, then it hits another one. So it's like a big long line of a straight lightning strike of it all the way through. So it's not a sextile on this side of the board, then one over here. No, this is one big, long, never-ending sextile that is going straight through. And so it is a good opportunity for you this week, but you want to make sure that you're not in your comfort zone and miss it. You have Pluto, which is in that 10th house. I'm starting from Pluto and I'm following it all the way through. You have Pluto, which is in the 10th house, which is in retrograde, which is asking you to pay attention to who you are on the outside. How are you in the outer world, in the outer authority? Are you comfortable with who you are in the outer world? Do you have any feeling and power to feel that you have authority over any parts of your life? Now, society has a lot of its own things and its own agenda. The world outside of you has its own agenda before you came to the plate. Before you opened up your front door and decided to take part in it each and every day, it has an agenda, okay? But once you enter it, are you in your power? This is part of what Pluto in retrograde in the 10th house is asking you. Where is it that you are in your power in that outer authority versus not? It is the world of careers. It is the world of our outer world of social foundations and finances. How we make that money by our honor and our prestige in that outer world. Now, that specific energy is getting along great with Neptune, but Neptune's in retrograde in the 12th house. So this is saying if you're learning from the lessons of the healing that you need, then it is giving you the magical power to see a new part of yourself, to breathe it in delight and bring it out to show the world. But if you're in denial, because the 12th house is grief, sorrow, shame, blame, and insecurities, is what we lock up and hide from ourselves, then it's locking up even more. See, the sextile can work for you. It depends on how you're choosing to create it. And it starts off with these two. Then you take that Neptune energy, which is the source of your magic. Are you igniting the source of your magic? Are you purple flaming it? The violet flame. Are you violet flaming your magic or not? Is it ignited or not? Are you being completely forthcoming with all and whom you encompass yourself to be or not? This energy of that Pluto and that Neptune is then talking to Mars, Uranus, and the North Node, which is in the 2nd house, which then goes from acknowledging who you have forgotten you are, breathing it back into life, and then putting it in the powerful hands of the soul. It is asking you to step in your worth, your value, your esteem. Find the liberation from believing in thyself. And that will help you open up the gates to the manifestation, because that's the 2nd house, which is also where you have the ability to create and spend the money according to the law of attraction. So this is saying the law of attraction kicks back then to that Neptune and to that Pluto energy of going, well, do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in that inner violet flame? Do you believe in all of that power in yourself? And are you bringing it forward and breathing it into life and showing the world? Or are you kind of just doubting it, and so therefore somebody else has your violet flame and the power over you? That energy then speaks to Venus and Lilith in the 4th house. Your inner emotional security. Are you giving your inner emotional security away and asking someone else to create it for you, or are you creating it for yourself? At the end of the day, you are always the king or queen of your own kingdom. And if you don't like the kingdom that you've created, well, it's time to realize why and start uncreating so you can recreate. Venus speaks to you about what makes you comfortable and what makes you uncomfortable. Venus is not love. I don't care how many astrologers out there will say that. Venus is telling you about what helps you feel good, secure, and safe. But she will also tell you about what hurt, what betrayed you, what lied to you. I always say it. If you've got your hand in an oven, cooking something at 365 degrees, and you pull the pan out without an oven mitt, when you burn the crap out of your hand, that's Venus telling you, don't do this shit to me. It hurts. That is how Venus speaks to you, according to your emotional and your mental and your spiritual and your physical sensitivity. And she tells you if you're doing something good for you or something bad. Listen to her. But here's the kicker. Lilith is still in Cancer. Lilith is not strong here in Cancer, which means it's easier to be submissive and go, I'll let them tell me how it's best for me. I'll let them help me figure out it. No, No, they won't. This is about you becoming independent and standing in your own power and breathing you back to life. You have a grand trine this week for most of the week, not the whole week. And it's that South Node energy. The South Node is everything that you're good at, but it's not doing anything for you. The South Node is in Scorpio. Scorpio is all about transformation, but it's also all about the rules, the walls, the boundaries of these relationships that allow transformation to take place. There's a reason certain relationships only last a couple months, and there's a reason why other ones last lifetimes. There's a reason for that. There's something that's helping them transform, grow, and mature together. If that is not there, the proper rules, walls, and boundaries aren't there. And sometimes even after many, many, many years, the energies have grown apart because the boundaries, the rules, the walls, the boundaries, they're not on the same plate anymore. They're not on the same frequency anymore. Sometimes things have to change. And this is the transformation of the 8th house. And will it be something that continues and is manageable and maintainable or not? As well as in the 8th house, with the South Node here, it's going, where do you keep making the same mistakes? Where do you keep having the same problems within these relationships? Where do you keep not identifying with specific things over and over and over again that just keep kicking you right in the ass again and again? Because the South Node is saying, I bet you won't grow. I bet you won't transform. I bet you I can make you believe in your comfort zone more. And that sucks. Okay? But that energy is getting along great with Neptune. Meaning, I can make you believe in all of your denial. I can make you believe in all of that negativity, your grief, sorrow, shame, blame, and lack of inner security. But magic is Neptune's job. So it has the ability of going, I don't have to listen to you. I can overcome that by acknowledging exactly where I make these mistakes. And both of them are talking to Lilith, again, with Venus, and being submissive. This is not the time to be submissive. This is not the time to be have somebody dictate what's best for you. Because they're not going to be dictating most likely what's best for you. They're going to be dictating what's best for how they view things. But that may not be the same view or point of view of where you need to be in life right now. But it's a grand trine, meaning the opportunity is there. Something can definitely come out of it. But the energies are showing, do you want it to come out that way? Because you're going to have to tweak that if you want it to come out in your benefit. You have the Sun, which is also with Co-Cub again, bringing that energy of Venus's sensitivity and Saturn's rules, walls, and boundaries, along with the illumination. And it's not getting along. I mean, it's a trine. It's getting along with Chiron and Jupiter in retrograde. So again, it's talking about where are you in your head doubting that you can move forward. See, these energies are positive, but the positive is supposed to be just enough inner chatter to make you realize where you keep not making the turn around the corner, where you keep making the same steps. That inner chatter should be there, but only enough to go, ding dong, there's where I keep doing the same thing. Because if you catch it and you redirect it, then it's going to be something that's working out great for you. But it's just left to be enough ego to where if you just walk into it and you just keep on walking, you're going to keep that cycle going again. You have all week long, and then like the last part of the week, you have another trine energy that is forming, and it's going to be there for like 2 weeks, I believe. Pluto, which is in that 10th house, starting to show yourself to that outer world and coming back into the authority and the power of yourself. And it is forming, speaking directly to the 2nd house of Mars, Uranus, and Neptune. No, Mars, Uranus, and the North Node. So this is saying, I bet that I can find my independence. It's one of two things. It's saying I can find myself to feel independence, to feel liberated, to stand in my power, to pat myself on the back, to stand strong with my chest out and be like, yes, I believe in me. I am able to be me, and you can't take that from me. That's the energy that is building. But if you can't believe in it, if you can't find that power, because like I said, it's a trine, and we are talking about retrograde energies. So if you're not, then what's growing is where something or someone else is coming to take that power away. So it's, do you allow the outer world to dictate to you who and how your life will be? Or are you starting to come into that inner peace? I got the bees everywhere. They're all over me, just like my father. But you can't harm me because I'm in my power. That's the kind of energy that I'm talking about. Are you getting into that inner peace to where you can't penetrate this? I have my energy. There's nothing you can do there, son. That is power. That is unstoppable. But you have to feel it. You have to believe it. And you can. You have Saturn also, which is directly in a trine with Haumea. And Haumea is one of those that nobody ever talks about. But you know what Haumea is? Because Haumea is in the Kuiper belt, technically. And it would be considered one of those dwarf planets. Most astrologers don't use that. But Haumea is the collective consciousness. And she's in Libra. Midweek, the moon's also going to cross over this energy. Saturn is your rules, your walls, your boundaries for the outer world, for the groups and the memberships that you're part of. And they help support or don't help support the dreams, the ambitions, the goals that you wish to create. So the people, places, and things, the committees that you're part of, did they support you in your dreams and your ambitions? Because directly across from it is Haumea with Libra energy, showing you if justice can or can't be served. It's the collective consciousness going, I'm going to make you see it now. Haumea is the collective consciousness, showing you if it's truly in harmony and balance, and can justice be served or not. Because 90% of the time when you're dealing with Libra, it's all about showing you what you have to do to create harmony and balance and get that justice. Because 90% of the time, it's showing you where it's not in balance. This is the collective consciousness going, I'm giving you a shot. I'm giving you a shot to notice if your dreams, your ambitions, your goals are capable with the groups, the memberships, the committees that you choose to be part of. Are you guys on the same frequency? Are you guys on the same timeline? Or do you need the collective consciousness to go, hey, ding dong? Doesn't mean that people necessarily are bad, but maybe you're not on the same frequency. I'm not saying it is or it isn't for you. I'm telling you the way that the energy works and what it's showing you so you can choose how to move forward. Now, you do have some challenges this week. Jupiter is not getting along with Make-Make, which is also in that 7th house. Make-Make is the idea of the lotus flower. It tells you if you're growing, meaning the lotus flower is one of the most spiritually evolved symbols, but it grows out of a freaking swamp. So, are you still in the swamp and you can't see anything good? Or are you starting to bob up and down because the flower's growing and it's finally starting to come out of the swamp and it can see the light above, but it can also feel the swamp below? Or is it up out of the swamp and is coming into its bloom? That's what Make-Make's energy is. In harmony and justice, in the energies of the 7th house and the relationships, and it's not getting along with Jupiter retrograde. Your character, how you identify. This is asking you if you're in your head in a positive, honest way, just enough to get the truth, or are you in there enough to rattle yourself into negativity? And what is happening within the relationship? Is the relationship truly in the swamp? Or has it bloomed? And is it capable of it? Now you have a T-square also this week, which is Saturn. Those relationships, those rules of your groups, your memberships, again, being able to help support your dreams, your ambitions. It's not getting along with that North Node, meaning things have to change. Things have to change in order to move forward, because they can't continue exactly the same way as they've always been. But this is saying in order for change to happen, you have to liberate yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to be able to identify with what makes you great at what you do. What makes you different? Why should we pay attention to you here? Independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, courage. It is saying in order to make the relationship go the way you want it to go, and to see the dreams and the goals and the ambitions, that I got a big lion coming in behind the screen that I'm talking to you on, saying this is all about coming into your courage. You got to stand up for what you want. But you may feel like that's difficult because, like I said, it's under the challenges. You have Saturn also, who's not getting along with Mercury, as Mercury goes from that 5th house to the 6th house. The 5th house is all about having the creativity to create something and to enjoy it and to enjoy life. And the 6th house is all about, again, the daily opportunities of being able to have time to enjoy the things you want to enjoy in life. The people, places, and things. If their energy is consuming you, if their energy is consuming you, or if you've been consuming all of that energy, then you can bet it's consuming you. The people, places, and things of your daily routines and activities are part of the biggest level of manifestation. And if you're being asked to do this or to do that or take time for this or blah, 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 and you're not getting to do and create and be the person you want to be, well, that's the choice you made. So this is part of the question here. Are you setting the boundaries to make sure that you're enjoying your life Or are you being manipulated in a pushover so that others can enjoy theirs? Like I said, it's always good to be helpful, but it's always good to be helpful. It's always good to be loving. But if you're being helpful and you're not getting any of you time, then how helpful are you being? Another example is bosses tend to put one job off on another person, off on another person, off on another person. And then the small guy is there working on the weekend, not visiting any of their family or their children, or taking time while they're out on a boat. And this is because society has told us we can have this passed down to us. No. All you have to do is say no. And start pushing that dirt, that shit right back up the hill at them. No. I need my me time. I need my family time. I need my enjoyment time. And you have to stand firm on it. You have Venus and Lilith, which also is not getting along with Jupiter or Chiron. So this is your inner emotional security is in question over you coming into the character that you truly want to be versus the one you've been being. Are you seeing the difference of where you might have fear of standing up for yourself, standing up in your power, or showing the world in a healthy way, not a push and shove way, but being able to come back into your power from that inner security, knowing who you are and being like, I am good with this. Because a lot of this has to do with us identifying our character. And if we're truly in our inner peace, which creates our power, or if we're in false power, like I said, that shark energy versus true shark leader or shark attack. And self-sabotage and comfort zone. And last but not least, you have Pluto, which is in that outer world, not getting along with Venus and Lilith in your inner emotional security. It's not meant to be comfortable, because if it was easy, everybody would do it. You get comfortable by believing in yourself. But it's been so long. I say to people all the time, we are learning how to love ourselves again. And that's foreign to so many people, because we haven't been taught how to truly be our own leaders. We haven't been taught how to be good humanitarians. We haven't been taught how to care for one another or ourselves well. And so we're teaching the world as we grow how to be a better world. But you have to believe in you first. And then you take it to the outer world. If you can't believe it in here, you're not ready to take it to the outer world. Sorry, but it has to be here first. This you can't lose once you believe that you still have it here. And you have it there. You may have misplaced it. All you got to do is reignite it. I love you guys. I will see you next week. Bye.